It was. It was. And teams were actually banning Riki second stage against them just to try and deal with it.
Team Empire's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
By the way, Andy, just
10
make
seconds
sure you have your
remaining.
Dota TV audio turned on. Not sure if you do, but someone
5
in chat is
seconds
saying they can't
remaining.
hear you right now. Might just be because we hadn't started yet. Okay, 5-minute
Reserve
delay and all
time.
that. So, Venomancer will get banned by Empire here. I guess a good Ags candidate, and we did see like No Diggity running the Alchemist. They basically played like the 7-slot draft, where they just went for super late game. Poor Synderen, the one guy that never got too much farm, but Veno will get banned out, something that Yapsor normally the guy who tends to play it, but obviously they already have the Enigma here, so would expect
Yeah.
that he's not the one on it if they go for it.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, this is usually the point where you look to Quakefa and you say, you know, what hero is he going to play? Because I'm assuming it's going to be Air Alchemist, right? And they already took away like the
Yeah, it should be
Slardar,
Era.
which they kind of need a space creator, kind of
10
slash safe lane
seconds
hero.
remaining.
So
I'm
what
kind
are you
of
thinking? Like Batrider banned out, Beastmaster banned out,
5
the Void
seconds
removed,
remaining.
the Slardar removed. There's not... I mean, we've seen some teams experiment with the Axe pick,
Reserve
not No
time.
Diggity so much.
it's okay. I think a lot of the best choices are obviously banned out in this situation, but it's just interesting to me because the emphasis on cores is a lot more prevalent in this like game one between these two teams than it was in the last series. You know, like we were seeing Slark get through last pick. Madara was playing it when they were up against Edfin, but I think they learned their lesson and what kind of hero that can
10
be
seconds
against them.
remaining.
But yeah, there's a couple of choices. I think they just need to lane something that's
5
self-sustaining.
seconds
Like I
remaining.
wouldn't. Okay, Queen's self-sustaining. That's a Quake
Team
for classic, if
Empire's
you will.
turn to pick.
Yeah, and a strong laning hero, somebody that could potentially deal with the puck, even shut it down if you get the fast Orchid,
Yeah.
and get some help. So now they have pretty good lockdown for puck. The Lion support, the Quad Orchid, and then good follow-up stuns
10
with the Alchemist
seconds
in here.
remaining.
So heavy team fight for No Diggity. These are some long cooldowns. The Black
5
Hole,
seconds
Bubble,
remaining.
even Finger and Wall to a certain extent, but they are a very scary 5-man lineup.
Reserve
Yeah,
time.
it's a different approach at like a 4 Protect 1. It's like 4 heroes that can fight and then 1 hero who's going to get a truckload of farm during the time that the Diggity's trying to take these engagements. So now Empire have to make the distinction of what they think is going to be best to match up against the Alchemist, I suppose, the later the game goes. And it's been a lot of different cores that we've been seeing, but like we said, the Slark is already kind of taken out of the pool. Slardar was the answer from Ad Venom when they were playing against No Diggity. They did end up losing that game, though. So we'll see what Empire's choice is here.
What do Empire want here? Looking for the Ramses hero, most likely. With a Slark band, he plays Ember. But lots
They
of
could
tech
actually
for
go
an
like
Ember.
safe lane Fury and just go ham, like just fight non-stop. I think that would be like a ton of pressure that they could actually apply, and they have historically ran it to pretty good success. But I don't know, because that's like pretty all-in, right? If you do that, you
Yeah.
have no fallback mechanism for the mid-late game.
Yeah, I mean, you have Doom, who's okay, but not going to bring a ton to the table there, so... hard to say. I feel like... it feels a little like one-dimensional if they go for the Prophet, but I mean, is there a carry that can really like match up against No Diggity? Their 5-man's just so
You could
good
go
at
like
this point.
Sven. You got a sizable amount of lockdown just with the puck coil and the disruptor. Like there's some decent synergy. But the scary thing is like the potential of okay, that's a different way of doing it, I guess, but it's still good. I mean, in this matchup, you kind of want a hero who can pressure the map in some way for Empire, and Riki's going to be that hero for the early game, but after that kind of falls off, it's either going to be like straight up team fighting, and No Diggity still had the advantage in split push because they had Queen, so I guess AM is not necessarily, in my opinion, like the strongest pick, but it can still work. Like during team fights, you have Mana Void for a secondary, like BKB disable through Black Hole and whatnot, which can actually be pretty useful. because up until that point they only had what, like 1 or 2. But yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see how it works out for
they
them.
have a late game answer to it here. They actually have the Riki Cloud, the Puck Coil, Doom, even the Disruptor. So yeah, there's the BKB maybe later on for some of these things, but it's going to be a tougher game for YapzOr to hit
10
those black
seconds
holes. So
remaining.
can't completely rely on it, that's for sure. What are you thinking for Ramses? Is this the
5
Vanguard
seconds
anti-mage that we've been seeing a lot of lately? Is it going to be situational, or
Yeah,
how do
I
you
think
expect it to
Vanguard
be
is like a
played?
super safe choice. It just depends on how much they assume No Diggity is going to pressure them. So in a fast-paced game, going Vanguard can be really nice, because then you can show up to team fights with like 1 value point into Spell Shield, a couple of points into Mana Break, and can do a little bit of work. But if you feel like you're just going to have free farm, I still think that going Battle Fury is probably the better choice. It just seems like Empire decided to match greed with more greed, and I suppose in some ways they don't have a tremendous amount of catch until the Queen gets like an Orchid, or, you know, Enigma gets a Blink Dagger, so he should have quite a bit of space here.
I'll have a pause here. Wouldn't be a Dota game without it to kick things off, but we're underway almost as quickly as that pause happens. We resume. Best of 3. Loser eliminated will have their dreams crushed brutally. The winner has the pleasure of facing Adfinum in a best of 5. Should it be No Diggity, they could end up playing as many as 11 games in a row. One of the longest marathons I think any Dota 2 team will have ever had to play. And in China and SEA, it looked like the series could go long, but then Mineski ends up with the 3-0, and Newbie just crushed their entire way through the qualifier. So they had relatively short days. This one for No Diggity could be a long one, but if Empire have anything to say about it, they'll be the ones moving on to face Adfinum. So we get underway here with the laning stage, Andy. What are some of the early matchups that you're keeping your eyes on? Any keys for each team as the teams start to head out towards the runes?
Well, I think it's a bit interesting if they actually decide to put Air in middle lane. I thought for a second after picking up the Queen they would just put him in the safe lane. Of course, we haven't seen how they're going to shape up just yet, but I'm kind of hoping for No Diggity's sake that they don't put Air in mid. Because I do think that
30
Miposhka and, you know,
seconds to
even
battle.
King R, if he wants to sit around mid, they can pressure him so hard. But if you put him in the safe lane, then you kind of have that Enigma buffer where if YapzOr is in the area, we've seen him in the past kind of change his playstyle to be more aggressive if he knows that one of his, you know, safe laners or somebody else is going to need the assistance, and he can still recover because it's Enigma. But I'm curious because, you know, we saw, I don't know if it was you and I or Owen and I casting it, but Scandal, or not Scandal, No One for Vega was matching up against Alchemist mid as well and just got absolutely destroyed.
All right, looks like an early skirmish here with the mini Ravage coming out from Cinder, and Ramsey's blinking up to the high ground. But the Orb is also going to be used. The Scandal backs away, so that already 2 heroes, basically 2-3 tangos or a Salve Force dead on each. Ramsey's, well, at the very least, no, he wasn't even able to grab the bounty rune. That goes to the Alchemist. So Era skilling up the greed. Could be up to a great start here. 450 gold banked up already. And it was the Riki grabbing the other bounty rune. So at least something for Empire. But still a good exchange here early on for Diggity is will be Miposhka roaming through the jungle. Looks like he wants to hunt the Enigma, but YapzOr, perhaps anticipating this, he is starting up towards the north side of the map. Big camp near the Radiant off lane, so at least for now he's going to dodge the pesky little Riki.
Yeah, I suppose this is something that you kind of just know now. Like after like the changes to the map, at first it was a little bit confusing, but shouldn't really take him any time to adapt here. So he's just going to sit here and soak YapzOr's experience. He does have double sentry on him, but of course he doesn't have any points into Malefice, so it's not like there's anything he can do about it. He just has to accept it.
There's the stomp. Miposhka could get the last hit here. Oh, and he will. That really hurts an Enigma, delaying the Soul Ring timing and slowing down his jungle progression in general. So Miposhka, I'll be happy with that. It's back towards mid. They do have a ward up on the high ground here to scout out Era or any supports behind him. As he now plops down an observer. This really is, to me, just like a ghetto bounty hunter, basically, but still quite effective in its own way.
It can be really nice with Puck, actually. Like, the combination of having a Cloud and a Dream Coil together means that you pretty much can't do anything at all. You get caught by that, can't cast any spells, don't really want to walk out of it. Can be pretty decent. But it's more just about, like you said, it's kind of a ghetto bounty hunter. You don't get the abuse of track during the mid game, and obviously his burst damage is not anywhere near what a bounty hunter offers you with like Janata and the Shuriken Toss, but he gets the job done.
And that early skirmish, I'm just looking at Ramsey's top lane where he started with 8 tangos, he's already 5 deep. One just now being used, so actually 6 tangos down, doesn't have the Ring of Health gold yet, and is under heavy duress from Kezu. And Knar, he runs right into the double Ion Shell, might just end up going down here to Kezu, forced to drop the Thunderdome and run as Ramses will get one swipe off with the blade, but both heroes at critical HP. A lot of harassment, and it does kind of date back to that level 1 skirmish there at the top rune.
Using all that regen for the level 1 fight was not really that great, but the one thing to keep in mind here is Kezu is kind of out of mana now. Like, he threw out his last Ion Shell, so...
They're even
Ramses
laning
probably...
Yapzor top. Look at this.
Well, it's a
level
good
1.
response when you know that you're not going to get anything out of the jungle, right? Like, they placed a high ground ward at the large camp that was near the top rune, so he, like, de-warded it, and then also realizes that, okay, well, I'm not going to get that camp, I might as well just pressure the AM, let Kezu get a little bit of regen, and then...
Double damage Riki coming on mid with the body blocks and Era. The silence to follow this up. This could be death of Era. Really good control there by Miposhka. Can they finish the job? One more auto tech. He gets fogged. Get off that last swipe. Can dagger, and Era might just be able to sneak away. He lives on about 20 HP, but mid lane in shambles. The Enigma completely shut down here early. Only level 2 and dual laning at 3 minutes. This was the story of game number 1, where Yapzor's Enigma just got dealt with and never really recovered or had an impact. So far, similar results, so it feels like Empire off to a pretty good start here. Andy, do you see any rays of hope for them as far as the laning stage goes?
Well, this is kind of the concern I had with putting the Alch mid. Like, if you put Quake the mid, at the very least, he can, like, blink away from these rotations, but, you know, Arrow just has no answer, because who's supposed to help him out? I guess it can just be Cinderin, but even just sitting him mid is not going to be super useful. Lion only offers a little bit of crowd control in the early game, not necessarily damage. So it's a struggle.
And he is definitely killable once you get the Cloud if you follow that up with the Puck Silence.
Yeah.
Or potentially the Dream Coil, which is coming fairly soon here. Miposhka, regen rune grab, but immediately there to break it on Yapzor. And yeah, not only did they drop the Hell Ward, but also actually Miposhka went to the trouble of blocking the camp, which the D Ward failed. So truly Yapzor has been shut down at this point. Meanwhile, the offlaner for Empire Afterlife, haven't talked much about the bottom side of the map. He's level 4, having a quite a good time here. Not even with Kezu, but doing it without the support of the Enigma. And they're tracking him. They have only ice armor, but they can eat the Satyr Tormentor and potentially go in. So just running the hell away. Why is there a Doom chasing me?
Dude, like, what are these heroes supposed to do about this? Like, what does an Alchemist and an Enigma do against a Doom with, like, the ice armor already this early in the game and 900 health? Like, you actually have no response. Lion doesn't do any damage. Like, Empire are abusing them so heavily because the early game is completely reliant on, you know, 1 or 2 of their cores getting farmed, but there's actually 2 of them being shut down simultaneously. The only person getting farm is Koikva.
Not looking great here, and in the mid lane, they're going to snipe the Courier. Afterlife just coming in from behind, now laying in with the Infernal Blade. They might kill Era too. That's the first blood, and probably 1,000 gold swing or more as the graph plummets against no Diggity. Enigma shut down. Era denied. Now in the offlane, Kezu likely to drop here as well. Gonna pop the Fairy Fire, but the cage keeps him out. Knar securing the kill. And now Ramsey's up to 1,500 gold, completely salvaged in this top lane. Leader in CS. Literally every lane, it feels, has been won, with the lone bright spot being Koikva at least getting good farm here in the safe lane, but that's really about it.
Yeah, but they're putting a lot of pressure on him, you know? Like, he needs to kind of carry the game. As soon as he hits 6, he needs to buy, like treads, TP, and yeah, stick and just go. Like, there's no way he can sit passively by and let like his mid lane and his jungler just be shut down this hard.
And now Ramses just doesn't care about Kezu. Just constantly gonna swipe at him with those blades. Has gone for the couple points of stats and quickly burning through his mana. Has opted for the infused raid drops here. Haven't seen so much of the item since the patch dropped, but gonna grab it this game. And well, Ramses feels like he should be okay on his own now with the Vanguard.
Yeah, he'll be more than fine. Just having a value point into Spell Shield and just a ring of health honestly is enough to deal with the Ion Shell damage coming in from Kezu. And it's a really nice response too, because if you want a hero that can kind of sustain your mid-game split push, give you a little bit of pressure once he has a Battle Fury done, and can lane against Darkseer at the same time, AM's just a really good choice. So Empire just having a good grasp on what No Diggity's goals are in the early game, doing a very good job of shutting it down, and also leaving themselves like a backdoor just in case things go south.
Koikva just picking up the treads here. Has grabbed the magic stick, so no real indication as to how he wants to play on the Creed of Pain. But top lane, there is a rotation. Looking for Kezu. They do have access to kinetic field as well as the glimpse. It's a level 1 glimpse, but with the cloud coming out, it's the perfect combo that you mentioned the coil earlier. Well, they also have the kinetic field, and Monovoid will secure it. So Empire, they make it 3-0, now leading by about 1,500 gold. Experience fairly minimal, and the good news is Yapzor, the pressure at least has been relieved on him. He could start to catch up, but he's level 4 at 7 minutes. We've seen Enigmas like level 7-8 at this point if they're left unchecked.
Yeah, if it's Yapzor or anyone else, you know, they have free farm jungle, they're like double this level at this stage in the game. It's really kind of crippling them, and a lot of it, I think, if you go back to the ward that they had on the hill, it just faded now at around 7.5 minutes. That ward actually spotted so many rotations in the early game, was a primary reason why Miposhka was able to stick to Yapzor so heavily, just because he saw every single movement that he was going to. Like, Enigma wants to kill the large camp, and there's only 2 that are like in the same kind of region of the map, unless you want to walk all the way down towards bottom, which is obviously a huge waste of time. So the Yapzor are not really left with a whole lot of options here.
I mean,
Seems
speaking
like
of that
pressure...
ward, Miposhka is just going to plan it again. It worked for him once. Why not go for it a second time?
Dire's middle tower.
It's just super frustrating to play against this, because you can't, again, you can't really commit the resources to helping out. And now with the Queen being like, you know, level 7, it's up to Qualifiers to see if he can actually make some moves.
And Miposhka just a little roamy mission here. He's going to do a drive-by in the mid lane, even eats the Observer Ward that had just been planted down, and now gets a deep one onto Yapzor, so he resumes the hate train. There was a Radiant scan here, I believe, scouting some Empire heroes, rotating as Yapzor hangs back. Level 4, but he's going to get caught out. The Doom's ready. They give him the old Infernal Blade. No mana for the Doom. Doesn't need it. He's dead. Era panicking and popping his invis, trying to retreat. They look to turn here. Sindred with the Hex. The done. Can they kill up Miposhka? At least get the Riki. I mean, for whatever it's worth. He drops the cloud. He continues retreating. He may make it out. The dust is going to wear off. There's the Radiant Sentry, but Sindred's way too slow to catch him. So he too will escape. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage farming past the tower in the top lane. Yet to see Koitsu rotate. They are just completely reacting and not getting much out of it.
They're just being pulled apart by Empire right now. It's just a struggle, man. When you have this kind of greedy support and a Lion, this is why they like getting the Bane so much. Because Bane does much better in these early game fights where you really want to be able to just harass a hero 1 versus 1 or like force somebody back. You can't really do that with a Lion, because Lion has 1 base armor, his auto attack damage is okay, but it's not really the same as a Bane who can just equalize so much health loss by casting Brain Sap or turning a 1v2 into a 1v1 by just, you know, casting a Nightmare. It's not really the same kind of effectiveness during the early game. Now granted, once he hits 6, he might be able to turn something around with Quake that can look to smoke up and maybe make something happen. And as we say that, it is still kind of like, no Diggity are finding some farm. Era's recovered a tiny bit. You know, he's almost got his armlet completed. That'll make him significantly more tanky. So even though Empire have done a lot of work in this early game, still have to look to no Diggity and say, okay, they're still getting, I think, enough for now.
Well, you say almost completed, but they're going to try to shut that down here. Coil drops, silence as well. Era, maybe they can deny him. Nope, can't even get there in time. Diggity, lose him again, and that was with the armlet. Actually had it on the courier coming out, didn't get it in time, so he'll drop once more. And meanwhile, Ramses, the hard carry here for Empire, left unchecked top. He is going to be on a fast pace here for the Battle Fury, and Era, as an Alchemist, Max Freeble's Greed behind an AM by a decent margin at this stage, almost 1,000 gold. And the movie on Cinder admitted the coil gets, or the cloud gets dropped rather. It will quickly finish him off. Scandal with the DD rune, closing in on the Blink Dagger as I think that's just Dota lagging, because somehow there's been like 10 smokes here purchased by the Disruptor.
Yeah, I think it was like a double purchase and then he sold it and then bought it again. I don't know, that was crazy. But
yeah. Or just maybe just the smoke hack. I've heard so much about.
Yeah, dude, map hack and smoke hack. That's the future of Dota. Just gonna
like
be
CS:GO.
vax everywhere, pretty much.
Fortunately, we have that over CS:GO, I guess, at least for now.
I think they had like a competitive player get vaxxed during a game. That's
Did they
just,
really?
Like,
was that a recent thing?
I think maybe it was a few months ago. I don't know. I don't follow CS that closely, so I'm sure somebody in chat will spew it out in 5 minutes from now. But
the memes
yeah.
come soon. But on a Dota-related note here, what's next for Empire? They're going to get the Blink fairly soon on Scandal, Battle Fury for Anti-Mage. They've slowed down the Enigma, they have the aggressive wards. Like, in your dream scenario, where do they go next?
I think you just have to start killing some towers. I think you want to go for the tier 1 mid and safe lane first and foremost. Those are the 2 towers that secure your Roche, most likely. Your team isn't necessarily great at killing it, but taking the map control away from no Diggity and kind of taking that objective away from them at the same time by pushing is a really good way of staying ahead.
Smoke now from No Diggity, and they move towards the bottom lane. Black hole online, Cinderin. No finger just yet, but Miposhka here to quite possibly break it. They are packing dust, but Afterlife has the drums, he has the Doom, and actually they've gone in on Quake for the timing, just a little bit awkward for No Diggity. They're going to commit a black hole to this, Miposhka doesn't cloud, so no way to cancel this, but Afterlife ever so tanky, and Quake was going to be forced back. They're even going in after that black hole. Super ineffective thus far. Yapsor down. Ramses joins the fray. This is a ganking anti-mage. He gets into the thick of it. They've also lost Cinderin. A 2-for-0. Ramses even getting a kill there. And Battle Fury getting ever closer. With this tower, we'll have a second component, and we'll just need that final sword. Era, no signs of wanting to rotate here. Just doesn't look like No Diggity can really fight right now.
I mean, this is kind of one of those situations where you see the flaw of No Diggity's lineup. When they throw out that black hole into Afterlife, if Quake's not there, and obviously he was just doomed, but they just have no damage. No one actually does any DPS to the cores, especially a hero as tanky as a Doom.
Yeah, no finger either. I mean, Cinderin gonna have it soon, but...
I mean, it's 13 minutes in. He better have it soon. That's like a super late level 6.
I think he already ate the tome as well, right?
Yeah, he
did. It's on cooldown, so... Well, they find Miposhka. Maybe they can at least kill the little Ricky off. They will do so, but the combo counter comes out from Skid with the 3-hero coil. The static storm over the top. They are going to wipe the floor with No Diggity, glimpsing back Koikfa into his immediate demise and looking for a fourth. Well, let's TP away there from Kezu. He'll make it out. Small consolation for No Diggity. Era just like, guys, I'm farming mid. Get that going for us. Nothing else, as the graphs continue to plummet. A Blade Mail now grabbed up by Afterlife. Even Treads on the Riki sits comfortably at 2,400 net worth, not far off the enemy Darkseer. And ahead of the Enigma. That is not a good sign.
Well, you can always look to the high ground defense, I suppose. And just say that, you know, we got Darkseer wall, we got some Black Hole, and an AoE Wombo combo, plus Acid Spray. Can't really undervalue that either. It's one of those situations where Empire are just getting all the core items up that they need at a very early stage.
They're going to fight top. Afterlife, though, popping the Blade Mail. Don't want to focus him. Cinderin has the finger, lets it go. And they are going to blink forward with the Scream. One more auto attack gets the kill. So Ramses working them all down, has the Mana Void ready. And there is a skirmish also in the Radiant jungle about to happen here as the Riki moves in. They've got the puck in position as well. They're going to find quite likely another kill. No, Yaps are able to back away. Anti-mage. Ramses, so close to Battle Fury, didn't really want to take any risks, so they get the Doom kill. One kill, about 1,100, 1,200 gold. But it looks like we could see them descend on Aramid. Oh, Miposhka poked his head near the tower, and there's the glimpse back. Into the silence, into the static storm. They're going to commit on Era. Armlet can be activated here. Can he survive with the cloud? He might just do it. Riki going to go into the ult and try to protect himself for a moment. Can't finish the job. Heads to the south. Ramses is ready though. Ramses is waiting. Has the ultimate available. Mana Void only level 1. Miposhka juking away. Yet to actually get a kill in this latest round of engagement, and it will be a 1-for-0 for No Diggity. Still 2-11 overall, and they may go back in. Here comes Ramses. Doom committed. Doesn't have the Chemical Rage going. Armlet off. He's a lot squishier, a lot easier to deal with. They will get the kill. They drop the wall. There's the Lion stun, but they just keep on moving forward. Ramses, he sees all this action. He wants to go in. The Quap Bolt will force him back, though. So far, no kills the other way as Afterlife heads back for the hills. The Mana Void coming through, finishing off Quakefa on the Queen of Pain. Blake was still cooling down. Again, another grab there. Empire in the end. Oh, they found another. Cinderin caught out. Goes for the stun on Ramses, pretty low with the black hole. They might be able to get the kill. Skittle flicks over the hole after a short hop on the orb. It gets the silence off, interrupting it, saving his carry. What a sick play there from the Puff. And now moves deeper onto Cinder and gives him the old Infernal Blade. Afterlife will finish that one off, and Yapsor turning with the Malefice, but Scandal again over the top, making a mega kill. 15-2. Empire just outskilling Diggity with the advantage as well, making them look, frankly, pretty silly.
This has got to be like one of the biggest stomps I've seen so far, actually. It just seems like Empire have No Diggity completely figured out, at least from, you know, what we would consider their comfort zone picks on the side of No Diggity. You know, getting the Alchemist for Era, Yapsar's Enigma, Quakefa's Queen, these are probably some of the most notable heroes that you could actually see them on. And they're just getting completely dismantled. And the more I think about it, the more the AM actually does kind of fit in with what they want to do, because he was helping give vision for glimpses, which is what led into that black hole, and then Scandal canceling into getting 2 bonus kills. And the AM of old wouldn't be fighting like this. You know, he wouldn't have the items necessary to be able to blink aggressively like that and take these engagements, but because of the fact that you can naturally build Vanguard now and know that you have a transition later, it works out. Like, you can bring this hero to engagements.
Yeah, they glimpse back Kezu top lane looking for yet another pick, and, well, Kezu in a lot of trouble, and it might be Ramsey's getting the last hit as well. The blink cooling down, not going to end up getting it. Goes the way of Kanar, but he'll be happy to claim that. As, oh, Miposhka in the Radiant jungle, they found little old Cinderin. Where you going, buddy? Oh, back to the well with you. Quick, decisive grab, and they may look for more here. Be able to blink into the trees, get away. Deep board planted down again. The noose just tightens further and further, and it's 2-17. I mean, there's nothing for no Diggity, feeling more like no dignity right now because Empire are just stripping them down and spanking them at the point.
It's an abusive relationship right now. I think we can both agree on that. The one nice thing actually that Diggity has going is Empire's team isn't necessarily amazing at killing Roshan. They're probably just going to lose a couple of towers. So as grim as the situation looks, they can look to do the no Diggity classic, which is just sit on their high ground and try to defend, wait for a mistake, very similar to what they did against Adfin game number 2. And I mean, they've pulled back some pretty ridiculous games before, so.
Yeah, they really need this Radiance on the Alchemist. It's pretty close for Era. 3,000 gold, already bought the recipe. And we're going to see a rotation bottom. Miposhka has the Cloud, but Koikfa just lunges back to base with the blink. And then they can no, the Glimpse found him! They got Koikfa! They're going to pull him back in, kill him off too! Get in your base and stay there. That's the only place that's safe, say Empire.
Oh, lordy. Alright, we're kind of running out of options right now.
I mean, every time you're like trying so hard as an analyst, it's like, all right, if they do all this stuff right, check, they could get back in, and then Empire just pull out the super long-range picks, and
they're not making my
they're
job
making
easy
you
right
work,
now.
Andy. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. There's a Radiance actually. You know, all things considered, the timing on this isn't actually too bad. Like 19-minute armlet with the completed Radiance, and he's got the bottle and whatnot on top of it. So again, it's a very grim situation, but Alchemist is one of those heroes that they're not very good at killing once he actually has the necessary item progression. Like if you saw Mid, for example, he just had an armlet, and they tried to jump him with like 2 or 3 ultis, and they couldn't kill him until after the Chemical Rage wore off. So again, that just shows the power of how much you can get in the way of net worth in this early stage of the game, but he does need to be careful here.
Era out pretty far. Kanar, he's been really good with these glimpses. He's going to head to the right, though. Searching for Era, and Era actually juked to the left, so he will make it out. And I do want to point out, this is something that we used to see a lot against the Bounty Hunters, even the Lycan picks with the Wolves. The early gem gets grabbed by Kezu. They want to shut down this Riki. They're tired of his aggression, tired of the deep boards, and just generally, they're fed up with all the picks. So take a risk here buying the gem early, but could be something that helps them get back in the game.
It's a necessary risk, though. Like sometimes you're just so far behind that even buying the sentry wards to try to place them isn't worth the value because it's so dangerous to try to get out on the map. So when you're out, you need to make sure that you get the D ward when you're there, because getting that map control is super important.
Go in again, Scandal, Cinder in. We all know who wins that one. Cinder win, not living up to the name right now.
It's not an easy Lion game, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Cinder has a lot of these games where he just... Team doesn't have a good start. He is just food and has to take these risk get wards up, but managed to plant one. An Empire, no gem of their own right now, so it could turn out to be important having that bit of vision.
Yeah, I think inherently with no Diggity's lineup, you kind of hit on an important point. Like it's very common to see Cinderin have a really tough game, and it's because the rest of the team plays so freaking greedy. It's like Ake of Alliance, pretty much, but with more deaths. That's the way that I see it when I watch this team. Because you have this Darkseer who wants to farm, Alchemist and Queen both want to farm, Enigma wants to farm at least until he has like 1 or 2 items. So there's nobody else that's going to be making space for him. He is literally the only one on the team who is not getting farm priority.
And as a result, they are feasting on him. Good news is he is very poor, so they don't get that much out of the Cinderin kills, but Kezu out of position here in the mid lane is going to get doomed. And likely going to go down. Maybe they can get off a deny. The kinetic field gets dropped. Is there any chance he lives here? The glimpse was used rather early. No, Miposhka going to find him. That's the gem. Scooped right up by Scandal. Has a veil now ready to go. It might be just be jumping further, deeper, looking for more kills. Dust going to get popped there. Defensively deployed by Koikfa. They move on to the tier 2 mid. Empire wasting no time in trying to close this game out, leading 20-2 at 22 minutes, averaging almost a kill per minute, averaging, I don't know, like 750 gold per minute advantage gained at least. They're now going to move into the Roche pit.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time these two teams played, didn't No Diggity beat them?
I want to say yeah. I don't think I actually cast those games. Let me script. Do you know offhand, or right, I will double check that for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was No Diggity who ended up sending them to the lower bracket in the first place. So, I guess Empire coming back to this series just with a better game plan. I really like the way they drafted this. Like, they're so effectively able to punish the greed of No Diggity, and having that Riki to just completely destroy Yapzor's early game put them so far behind. And again, putting the Alchemist mid. I really think if he played this game...
It's not in the bracket, by the way. It wasn't the group stage. And No Diggity did 2-0 Empire that time.
Yeah.
You're gonna fight top now as Kinar gets caught out. Finger committed for that one. They will get the kill on the hole on the Afterlife. He's got the Flamer going, but look at the Monovoid! Ramsey's almost killing them all off the bat, but he might end up going down here. He's got the Aegis. Dukes it out with Era. Low on with Toggle for all you're worth, my man. He's gonna try for the TP out. It's gonna be close. No, doesn't make it out in time. They survive with Siren even limping away, but Ramsey's, he's hot to trot, really wants this little bugger. Is he gonna track him down? Siren, get the shop. TP away. He got 1,200 gold. The dream of an Aether Lens. It's not far off, but Scandal might be here to deny it. Does he throw the orb? But he's not going to see him.
Nah.
Oh, he actually would have killed him a second later. But not going to happen.
When you're off the map for that long, you know, sometimes people just lose interest. They're like, okay, it's been like 20 seconds. He's probably already TP'd out.
Quake,
actually hit him with the Scream. Is he not? You can see the Scream animation. I'm surprised he didn't actually go for a dust there. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe not paying attention, not sure, but he will end up backing off in the end. So, still the gem sitting on Scandal after all said and done. They do lose their Aegis almost immediately, though. That's pretty good
to be honest,
Diggity.
that was the best fight that No Diggity could have possibly taken. Like, they get the Aegis that could potentially allow Empire to go high ground at an earlier state. And again, their high ground defense is still very good in of itself. So it's still going to be a while, I think, before Empire are feeling totally confident in their ability to try to breach tier 3s, but probably going to see them just try to assume the map control that they can take away from No Diggity and maybe push the last remaining outer tier 2 tower. But that tower honestly is like, if the tier 1 offlaner Radiant is worthless, that tower is mega worthless.
And while they contemplate how worthless their lone remaining tower is, Empire are contemplating 2 kills here. Kanar is going to be invis, dropping the static storm onto Cinder and preventing the stun from coming out, but that's all he gets for now. The coil, though, quite a bit better by Scandal, but he gets locked down. He may just drop here to the Radiance Burn as he comes out of this. The Doom onto Koikpa, Ramsey's on the chase. While they're going to commit in fully, they still hold on for the time being to the Monovoid, looking for a good target. Just destroys Kezu. Darkseer, the nightmare matchup, AM versus Conehead. AM always wins that one, it seems. Will end up being a 3-for-1.
Here.
Might lose the Radiance. No, he'll be okay. Man, look how fun this Disruptor is. Mech, Arcanes, Urn, and, you know, the Riki right there with him. Has a completed Diffusal Blade, mind you.
Yeah, that's actually kind of terrifying. At this stage in the game, when you're a Lion, and the enemy Riki has a Diffusal Blade, and you got Brown Boots, you're not having the best time.
Not to mention the Darkseer. Forget about your Surge. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's very true as well. You can purge everything that Darkseer does now too, so even the Ion Shell is not safe. Just one Diffusal Blade and you're just a melee creep, and then life is hard.
Oh, the Stalking Era. Hey, do they go in on this? No Static Storm, no Monovoid, no Doom, so they're just gonna back away. At least for the moment. So Era is farming. He's got the Manta, 2,300 gold. Not quite there with the AM, but very close. And I mean, all things considered, like you said, this is a pretty good showing for him. He's even going to buy the BOTs now. So he can start moving around the map more, shoving these lanes out. At what point do you expect him to start, like, considering buffing up his teammates here? Does he go for an Aghanims anytime soon, or is it not time yet?
I don't think it's time yet. The Aghanims upgrades that you're going to give your team are not super useful, except maybe the Queen. Like, having the ultimate cooldown lower for team fights would be nice, giving him the extra health and mana and whatnot, I suppose. And for split pushing, you can just throw out like an ulti and a Scream just to kill the wave super fast, but he's probably the only one. At least until, you know, super late game when he's like 7 slotted, then I guess priority would be like Queen, maybe the Enigma after him, and then Lion Darkseer. Or Darkseer maybe could come first because you're up against an anti-mage, I'm not quite sure, but it's still a ways off in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of just printed up because I'm looking at the net worths for most of these no diggity heroes, and they're pretty far behind. The
I'm pretty
Queen's
sure
sort of relevant, but that's about it.
his whole like voice client right now is just like, can you please buy me an Aghanims because I'm so freaking poor? Like he's the only one on his team who has any money.
I know.
He's doubling the net worth of the person on the team who's next highest, which is Quakefa, and that's like, that's not a good sign.
Cinderin is still waiting for his Ags after that game number 2. But I'm not sure he's getting one anytime in the next 40 minutes. Man can dream, though. Even if
I
that's all he's
suppose
got.
actually Lion's Aghanims isn't too bad. If you give it to him when you get like a big black hole, you can finger like your whole team. That's a pretty
true.
good little play.
That would be sick, especially if they got a Veil at some point. But
Yeah.
we're kind of theory crafting here, but the reality is that Empire is still in the driver's seat. 15,000 gold and experience lead. Sure, the Ox farm, but this is not a hero that scales as well as some other hard carries do. So he's not really at that point yet.
It's kind of interesting to note that AM and Alchemist kind of suffer from the same problem, is that neither of them really are like those mega hard carries. They don't carry gold the best, but they can accumulate it very fast in comparison to other safe laners. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be the issue. I think the issue is that the rest of the team just has a huge net worth lead on the rest of No Diggity. It's not really a matter of the Alchemist versus the AM, because I do think that the Alchemist in some ways does have a bit of an advantage because he can actually give gold to his team. And once he's 6-slotted, he's not just like wasting the farm anymore. So there's always that to look to as well. But yeah, it's still it's a long way back if No Diggity want to make their way back into this game.
Oh, do you see Maposhka kind of prepping here bottom, Afterlife, and Kanar spread out behind him. Gonna see those Alchemist Radiance illusions
that's something
moving
we don't
out.
see every day.
Yeah, gonna die quickly there, but the Doom
Radiant's top
Aghanims.
tower is under attack.
Really, for a while it was like the Ags Refresher build every game, but it has really fallen off in popularity.
Yeah, I think it used to increase duration, like by a lot. Before, like Doom's regular duration was lower than 15 seconds. I think it was like 10 or something. And then Aghanim's Doom was like 18 or like ridiculous boosts like that, and it would just never wear off if you were near him. But with I don't know, with the new scaling, I don't actually see the point of buying an Aghanim's. Like, what are you trying to disable on the enemy team that matters? And the duration of the Doom is really all you kind of want it for anyway. You just throw it on Quakefa, you set it and forget it, and then he just has to go back to well. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with his choice, but they are kind of in a position where I don't feel like he could buy an item that matters too much.
I mean, is it still useful just to kind of like run next to the hero and delay their ability to start counting down the Doom timer?
Oh, okay. That's
there
not
you
a
go.
useful
Hey,
Doom.
I have an Aghanim, Zara. Yeah, but with Chemical Rage, that is not going to be effective.
Yeah, but as far as like the running next to heroes thing, if it was them fighting in the open map and they were chasing people around, I would say yeah, that can be useful. But No Diggity are going to be spending the majority of their time sitting in base, where chasing them revolves around going to tier 4 towers and potentially the well. So I'm not really feeling the whole chase mechanism with the Aghanims here. I think like a Shiva's or an Assault Cuirass, a BKB, like literally anything besides an Aghanims probably would have been better. But again, they're in a position where it probably won't affect much.
No Diggity, just hugging their side of the map with the Quakefa poking out occasionally to split push the Alchemist Illusions. Doing most of the work here to shove out the lanes, and Roshan could be coming soon. Do you see this next stage as a big game changer or something that is going to put a sense of urgency into Empire, or are they just like content to farm moving forward?
I think they're pretty good. Like, they can go for the Rosh whenever they want. It's kind of a leisurely pace for them at the moment. They're just making sure that everyone's staying consistent on farm. When they decide that they want to take it, No Diggity are probably going to have to let it go. Like, they don't have Blink Initiation yet on Yapsar. He was forced into going like straight BKB just because of the Disruptor and the Puck. Like, without that item, getting a Black Hole is more or less impossible. So with that in mind, Empire can just, they can slow roll it if they want to.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah,
is
they
under
seem
attack.
pretty comfy. They do have the Doom, who obviously scales really well in the late game, and guess somewhat the Alch Ags could be the counter where you get everyone farmed so they can all have an impact. But oh, Scandal, he is going to find Cinder in bottom lane. Almost instantly solo kills him. My god, the nuke damage.
Yeah.
Not often you see a puck this dominant. Scandal 7-1 and 10. Just solo killing supports all over the place whenever they dare to leave the base.
It's just really scary for playing like this hard position support when you're this far behind. Like, you kind of feel you need to get out on the map and try to get something for yourself, and he's farming the most dangerous position because he knows how important like keeping Era and Quakefoot alive actually is to the team. So if they go to that spot and they die, it's like infinitely worse than if he's there and dies. And he did manage to get level 11 before he dropped, so in the grand scheme of things, one more Lion kill is probably not going to be the make or break for No Diggity. They kind of got bigger problems right now, like Empire getting Roshan.
Scandal losing the Hex. Here's round 2. The Veil comes out, the orb forward. Almost enough to kill him off immediately. There's the glimpse back. Quakefoot going to BKB it. That is the 10-second charge down. And Empire with a fresh Aegis available and a BKB on Ramses. They might just go high ground here. Ramses can pretty much go all in on this. He's super tanky. Actually, I think the Vanguard is currently sitting in his inventory. So he can go into the Abyssal here next as Yapzor gets sliced up, diced up, and will end up going down. Enigma just explodes. And they move forward. He blinks forward into a pop ball, commits with the Monovoid onto Kenzu. He's going to finish him off too. Somebody kill this man. They just can't. He BKBs. He blinks away. Ramsey's even going to live. Wagging on Team Diggity here.
That was actually not good though. Like, from Empire, that was pretty bad. Like, Ramses pops his BKB when he has Aegis, and they also lose their Puck and the Riki and the Gem. Like, considering there was no black hole usage there, I would actually say No Diggity won that fight pretty hard.
Yeah, they did buy back on the Enigma, so gold-wise about even, but does stop the push for now. They don't lose Rax. They hang on.
I would be pretty dissatisfied with that if I was Empire.
I mean, I imagine given they still have the Aegis, though, they can just kind of regroup and then look to go down one of these lanes again.
Yeah, but at the same time, if he was just a little bit more disciplined, they probably could have just literally raxed him right there if he just waited for his BKB. And they also, like, super heavy committed to going for these kills. I don't know. I mean, you're probably right. They can just go back down a lane again. Because Ramses now has his completed Abyssal Blade, just leaves his treads in the base in lieu of holding the Aegis, but...
I mean, it is scary, though. I think you make a good point. Looking at Game 2 of the last series, like, it wasn't even overextensions from Adfinum, just like, it's hard to go high ground against a lot of the No Diggity drafts. They tend to pick the big team fight heroes, the lots of AoE, and just crowd control and the choke points, and you make that two mistakes. Like, AM's pretty much done farming. Suddenly, Alchemist is not only 6-slotted, but is farming up his teammates, so... We're going to see the Bootsless at Team Age. Saw Bootsless carry last game. Seems to be a favorite. Oh, Quakefoot. There's the Abyssal Blade debut. They're going to commit a black hole on this. They really want to bring Ramses down. And this push, everything thrown in. The Alch's in there as well. The finger, the hate. They do get the Aegis. Comes back with a BKB. And he should be able to blink away here. No, Ramses, he's thinking about his own illusion. Working against him. But they threw everything at him once. Can they hold now a second time?
Yeah, I mean... If they make this into a Rax push, then it would have actually been a good use of Aegis.
They're waiting, I think, for the treads to come through as the Kerr is moving in. Now Ramses, he's going to poke without him. Onto this tower he goes, and at that moment, Era does get an MKB, so his ability to beat down on Ramses is quite significant. But there's the Duke, the Static Sword, vacuum to try and turn this one around. Kenzu holding on, doing what he can, but Ramses committing. They do lose the Alchemist here out of the game for some time, 75 seconds, and that should be at least one lane, possibly more. Could well just be the game. Yapzor going to go down. Empire taking the melee. They can rotate on mid with the creeps there as well. This should be a clean sweep of game 1, and No Diggity down another. They're 1-3 now in their last 4 games. They've had a long, rough day here. Even the one win was an 80-minute struggle. Empire now on match point the rest of the series.
That was an extremely dominant performance out of Empire. Again, I just feel like they had every answer. You know, the Riki, we hadn't seen them use it before, I don't think, and they showed that Maposhka just completely shut down Yapzor. Middle lane, Scandal won. I don't really think that was much of a surprise, but even in the, the off lane, Afterlife was getting a pretty good amount against Quakefoot, so I think that Empire had a really